Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Denver Scholarship Foundation Spring College Partner Meeting. My name is Ashton Klaus, and I'm the Director of College Success here at DSF. This morning, I have the privilege of introducing our amazing CEO, Lori Rubinowitz, who will kick us off with our opening remarks. So thanks for being with us this morning, Lori, and the floor is all yours.
Thanks so much, Ashton. That is a beyond generous introduction. It is a great gift to be with all of you today, joining you in celebration of spring, which is sort of funny when I look out my window. Doesn't exactly look like spring, but it makes it even more exciting to all be together, celebrating spring together, in joining us for the DSF Spring College Partner Meeting. As Ashton shared, my name's Lori Rubinowitz. I have the incredible honor of serving as the CEO of Denver Scholarship Foundation and welcoming all of you on behalf of our entire team today. Congratulations. We've almost made it to the end of the school year, thank goodness. And most importantly, you have dedicated another year of helping to make college possible in partnership with our DSF colleagues and thousands of DSF scholars. Today's theme is family and career. In addition to so much incredible content, including a robust discussion around FAFSA, you will hear from our colleagues, Diana and Ismail, to talk a little bit about family engagement, as well as our colleague, Kevin, to talk a little bit about career. And there will be prizes galore. In 2022-23, DSF awarded scholarships and provided support services to 2,194 DSF scholars, which is the highest number since our inception, and thanks to your support. Of the most recent 6-year cohort of DSF scholars, 81% have either completed their college degree or certificate or are continuing to persist in their post-secondary education. This far exceeds comparable national data again, because of your incredible dedication and partnership with our team and the students and families we collectively serve to seeing them through graduation season. According to the 2023 Colorado Talent Pipeline Report, close to 95% of top paying jobs in the state, which are defined as those offering a family living wage or a family consisting of 2 adults and 1 child, require some sort of credential beyond high school, making the work we all do together more important than ever. And with this year's graduation season, we will see over 330 DSF scholars walking across the stage of 31 institutions. So I want everyone to give yourself a big round of applause. These exciting achievements would not have been possible without the collective efforts of you, our college partners, and the entire DSF community. We're so thankful, so thankful for your commitment to our organization and to the DSF scholars we serve. I personally look forward to continued success as we work together to help make college possible and build the education and economic future of Denver and of Colorado. Thank you again and again and again. And now it is my great pleasure to hand it back to Ashton Klaus.
Thank you so much, Lori. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide, Juliana. Perfect. So our topics that we're going to cover today, as Lori alluded to, our Parent Family Engagement Committee is going to discuss their work engaging parents and families. After that, members of our Career Council will kick off our career section of the day by sharing how career support is infused in our overall work. Next, our partners at Red Rocks Community College are going to highlight their career work with students. Then we're going to transition to discussing everybody's favorite topic for the spring, FAFSA and CASFA. That will be followed by a quick overview of our virtual insight panels. And then we're going to wrap up our time together with some scholarship and success updates looking forward to 24 and 25. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So DSF staff members joining us today include Lydia Alvarez, who is our Success Partnership Manager, myself, the Director of College Success, Ismail Garcia, who's the Assistant Director of Trio Talent Search, Natasha Garfield, our Director of Scholarships, Deanna Madris, our Assistant Director of College Access, Kevin McNulty, who is our Career and Applied Pathways Manager. We also have Brianna Murphy, who is our Scholarship Data Specialist, Olivia Omega, who serves as our Senior Director of Marketing and Communication. You all just heard from Lori Rabinowitz, our Chief Executive Officer. We also have Ben Stevens, who is our Scholarship Program Manager, and running the slides today, we have Juliana, who is our Director of Events. I'm now going to hand it off to Lydia, who will proceed to a drawing.
Perfect. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So usually in the past, we have done a gift card drawing. So we want to show everybody our DSF school store, and we're going to do a DSF school store drawing. So the person that gets selected will be able to visit the DSF school store and select an item up to $50, and we will send it to you. So if we can go on to the wheel of names, please, Juliana. And let's go ahead and get started. Cross your fingers. We're going to do 3 drawings today. So this is the first one. And if you're here, please unmute yourself and let me know. Luis Sandoval, if you're here, let me know. If you're not here, we're going to move on to the next person. Oh, yes, Luis is here. I see him in the chat. Congratulations. And now I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Diana.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Madriz. I'm the Assistant Director of College Access. So my colleague Ismael had to take some students to an event, so I'm doing these slides solo today, but very excited to share with you a newer committee to DSF in the last 2 years. Our committee has been doing a lot of really great work though, so I'm excited to highlight that for you today. Next slide, please. So the Parent and Family Engagement Committee, as you can see, was initiated now 2 years ago to lead intentional programming and initiatives throughout our organization to engage parents and families in a more meaningful and sustainable way throughout our process. Obviously, getting students to and through college is our mission as an organization. And we know that parents and families and supporters are an essential part of that process for our students. So we understand that bringing them along and making sure that we leverage their support and their insights with students is going to get students to go further in this process. In our 2 years, some things that we have spearheaded is creating a landing page for parents on our website. This has been really huge because previously, obviously, our website is very centered towards students navigating it. We want to make sure that that page continues to expand in terms of resource collection and highlighting other parents who have scholars, either scholars to be at the high school level or current scholars, graduates, for them to share more of the information. We surveyed 3 years worth of classes at the DPS level across our future centers, asking parents very key questions around their involvement with students. So everything from when did conversations about college identity begin to happen? How have you played a role? We held focus groups with parents where we wanted to hear very concretely about their experiences, resources, events, partnerships that would have been essential or were essential to how they supported their students. And that has been really great feedback and really concrete information from parents that has informed the way that we think about communication throughout our various social media platforms, our website, across our schools, but also how we want to continue involving them. So eventually we look forward to having a parent task force of sort, so that we can, or bring them onto our Parent and Family Engagement Committee. We held our first major event in partnership with DPS and our Auraria campus partners. If they're on this call today, thank you so much for your partnership. The last 2 years, it's been a really amazing event. Last year, we had about 115 total people attend the event and it was geared towards parents. So we invited parents and families to come learn about College 101, Financial Aid 101, directly speak to our campus partners and resource departments at the Auraria campus, and just be in community and start feeling a little bit more comfortable with college campuses. That was something that came out of the focus groups and the surveys that we did, is that oftentimes, especially our first generation families, want to learn what their student is learning, want to experience not just the PowerPoints of this is what college is, but also the field trips and also just being on campus to have a better understanding of where their students may end up. This year, we are going to have that on June 1st, and we're looking forward to increasing that attendance to close to 200. And we've also spearheaded communication efforts, more sustained, consistent communication platforms across Facebook and Instagram Live. Just this week, in partnership with our scholarship department, we held Facebook Lives in English and Spanish, where we shared updates of FAFSA and CASFA, and also our DSF scholarship, as our deadline is approaching May 1st. So those are some key things that we have participated in, and our committee is comprised of different folks across access, success, and throughout the office staff. So we're really excited to continue those efforts. I want to pause in case anyone has questions. They could add in the chat or unmute themselves. Great. If no questions, I have an assignment for all of y'all. Next slide, please. So we want to know what parent and family engagement looks like on y'all's end. We understand that it may look a little bit different, but we know that some of these efforts have been happening for a really long time at the college level. And so we want to learn from you on what's going well, what initiatives, and what I've outlined here: partnerships, events, information, resources, personnel, what's happening at the college level that DSF could learn from, specifically when it comes to engaging parents and family and supporters of students in an intentional way. So want to give everyone like 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe, to brainstorm if they have anything specific that they want to highlight. Feel free to unmute yourself, but also add in the chat. The other thing is that as a previous advisor, I'm really good at calling on people. So if in the next 20, 30 seconds, no one starts chatting in the chat or unmutes themselves, I can kindly pick on someone. Thank you so much, Lauren, for starting the college contribution. So at MSU Denver, you do a few things, parent and family orientation, including Spanish options, admissions events and resources for families in Spanish, and partnering with athletics for events, free admissions, scholarship drawings. That's awesome. Facebook Lives. Yes, we're dabbling into Facebook Lives this year. It's been fun and also my age is showing when I'm like, I don't, buttons. Family newsletter. Andy, can you share what institution you're at? FAFSA nights in the spring. Financial aid nights each semester. Scholarships. Western using Facebook page. Awesome. Love to see Cynthia. Otero College. Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy. A parent and family liaison at Regis who connects families for different aspects of the process. Thank you so much. I know we started a little sooner, so I don't know how much time I have left, but want to be mindful of time. If you please continue to add in the chat. I will definitely copy these and might reach out to you with more information throughout the summer as we spearhead what our next academic year looks like and how to continue sustaining these things and potentially expanding some of our partnerships like the Auraria visit to some of y'all's campuses. If you have anything else or any specific department that maybe you think would be a really good idea for us to connect with, my contact information is on the screen. Please feel free to email me. Thank you all so much for everything that you do and for supporting our students and their families through this process. I will hand it off to Kevin.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here today. Happy Friday. My name is Kevin McNulty and I'm the Career and Applied Pathways Manager at DSF. Today I'm going to be discussing the work DSF, our advisors, and our Career Council is doing to support students and scholars to develop a life they love, with one of those aspects being career. Next slide. All right, so our objectives. We want to support students with designing a purposeful, passionate, and secure life that they love. One aspect of supporting students with designing a life that they love is incorporating career conversations into our daily advising with students. We are developing and curating resources so advisors can have impactful conversations with students and alumni about careers that align with the student's strengths, values, and needs, as well as supporting students with choosing post-secondary pathways that can support certain careers. We want students to be both confident and competitive job seekers. Next slide, please. All right, so this is the DSF career advising model. This is the how. So students need to perform. So the very first step in all this is what I like to call the self-search before the job search. So a lot of times folks go about this the other way. They graduate, they have a degree, and they just start job searching based upon the major they had. They just start looking for jobs that way. Data shows that this isn't the best way to go about job searching. The best way to do that is to first do what I like to call that self-search. So really understand who you are before you go do your job search. So understanding what your strengths are, what your values are, what your interests are, what your motivations are, and how those then align to jobs. So job satisfaction doesn't always come from what you're passionate about. I think that's often confusing for students and for just adults in general, because your passions are constantly changing the more you grow as an individual and your interests grow and change. So really highlighting what your values are and what your strengths are, figuring those out before you go on your job search. The second step is then exploring different career fields that align with those values, those strengths, those interests and motivations, and what you found out about yourself. The next step then is to actually prepare for the job search and the job attainment process through working on students' networking skills, resume, LinkedIn, and cover letter, review creation, and interview preparation. And finally, like in any good process, you've always got to reflect and reassess on what's going well and what's not going well with that job search. Next slide. All right, thank you. So here are some of the specific things that we are doing at DSF. Currently, we're designing a career resource guide. This contains all support materials for our advisors and students. This resource guide is housing strengths, values, and interest assessments, resume, cover letter, LinkedIn creation tips, and templates, job search engines, information regarding apprenticeships and internships, stackable credentials, and much more. So part of that too is that we've created stackable credential pathway resources that outline the different certificate and degree pathways provided by Colorado higher ed institutions, and the certain career options that these pathways lead to, as well as their salary ranges in given career fields. So why this is so important is students might be in their senior year of high school and they might be thinking, hey, I just, 4-year college isn't for me, neither is 2-year. I just don't have the capacity, the time, the money to do it. So then it's our job as educators, as advisors, to support those students with the options they have. And one of those options is receiving a credential, whether that's through an apprenticeship or a technical college, or a 2-year. And then we're really working with students to understand how they can make money while getting that credential and make money in a field that they're getting that credential in, and then stack that either to an associate's degree and then a bachelor's degree, or right into a bachelor's degree. So it's really important that we're presenting all options to students so that they feel that there is an education pathway for them after high school. Something else we're working on is we are updating our career posters that hang in future centers. We are updating those to highlight in-demand jobs in given industries, along with median salaries of these jobs and the average credentialing degrees needed to secure these jobs. We also provide advisors with apprenticeship navigation tips. So apprenticeship applications are often difficult to understand and navigate for both advisors and students. And this resource is, it helps make that process easier to understand and increase applications to apprenticeship programs. Something new that we also started piloting this year is we are providing alumni support, one-on-one support with career advising, networking connections, and graduate school application advising for our alumni. And then we also provide students with career exposure through panels, scholar and alumni virtual series, virtual insight panels, career fairs, exposure events, and job shoutouts. Next slide, please. So before I touch on these, we did have a question in the chat from Lauren. Can you expand on alumni support and how we can help make referrals to that? So once scholars graduate from college, Stephanie Lopez, who works with our alumni, reaches out to them, and part of that outreach is obviously to be a part of the alumni, just be a part of being a DSF alumni. Part of that too, though, is they will receive a link with some information that allows them to book an appointment with myself, Emily, Stephanie, or Ashton, depending on what they need support with. And then that support looks just like one-on-one coaching, advising, depending on where the alumni is after they graduate. Any other questions about anything that we're doing, or any questions about anything that I've covered so far? You could pop it in the chat, or you can come off mute. Awesome. Thanks, Ellen, for sharing that alumni resource. Okay, I'm going to highlight a few more things, and then I'll ask Stav again for questions. I also wanted to highlight a few other things that we were talking about and coaching both advisors, scholars on ROI and cost of living resources. So a big talking point right now is college worth it? And we are preparing our advisors to have those conversations with both students at the senior level of high school, as well as scholars at the college level. So we're providing advisors and students with support around those return on investment conversations and cost of living discussions. One thing we're really trying to help students think about is not only what are you going to do when you're 18, 22, 23, 24, but what are you going to do when you're 40? And what education options can support that. Another thing that we are working with advisors to use more, it's a really, really great tool. If you haven't heard of it yet, it's incredible. It's called the Colorado Career Advising Tool. It's a one-stop shop for career coaching. Students take a 7-minute assessment, and then the tool provides them with job suggestions, their motivations, words to describe themselves, and interviews. It also gives them a brief DISC profile assessment to show them what kind of person they will be in the workplace. And then finally, we also provide Odyssey Life design workshops. It's based on the book Designing Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. And this gives students 3 very different life plans for themselves. And then next slide, please. And these are just some quotes for you all to look at. And while you're looking at those, let me know if you have any more questions. Here, looks like Lauren had one. Have you all overlapped the ROI conversations with the family parent committee's work? Looks like yes. Any other questions from the audience? All right, well, if you have any more questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm going to hand it off to Evan.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second here. Okay, can someone give me a thumbs up if you are able to see my screen?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, my name is Evan Kravitz. I'm the director of the Career Success Center at Red Rocks Community College on the Lakewood campus, but we also serve our Arvada campus as well. The services we provide include career assessments and career exploration, which we'll talk a little bit about. The career assessment that we use more than any other is U-Science. We've become really big fans of that assessment. It does a great job of giving students an understanding of what their aptitudes are, but also what their interests are and what careers make best use of both of those. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We assist students with finding internships, apprenticeships, career networking, which is what I specialize in, job shadowing, resumes, cover letters, job search strategies, LinkedIn profiles, and we encourage students to make appointments with us anytime they have an interview coming up so we can work with them on mock interview practice, but help send them into their interview feeling a little bit more confident. Right now, it's 2 of us in the office, myself and my colleague Jennifer Lammers. We are going to be hiring an additional career advisor in the next month or so. So here at the Career Success Center at Red Rocks Community College, we have what we call the 3 E's that we focus on: exploration, experiential learning, and employment service. So when we talk about exploration, we find that students, when they come to college, really want to know what the destination is. Where is this all leading to? And what we tell them is not sometimes the best news, but that your career goes in all kinds of different directions. That very rarely is your career a straight line. And what happens many times in careers is that your career can go down the toilet. But here's the thing about that we tell students: if you get laid off from a job, or if you wake up one day and you know what, I don't want to be an accountant anymore, what do I want to do? Come back and work with us, because it doesn't mean you failed, and it doesn't mean you picked the wrong major in college. Sometimes your interests change, industries change, you want to do something new. And that's one of the great things about community college. So we make sure to tell all students, look, whether you graduate from Red Rocks or you drop out from Red Rocks, we are your career advisors for life. You can always come back to us, and we're always going to sit and we're always going to work with you. And if your career doesn't work out, we will re-strategize with you and we will figure it out. One of the things we do is we start with conversations with our students. And in those conversations, we'll ask, well, tell us about your experience in school. What subjects have you typically liked? What subjects have you typically not done well in? Tell us about your family and friends. What kind of careers have you been exposed to most of your life? What are your hobbies? What kind of quality of life do you see for yourself? I had one student tell me the other day that he wants to live on an island and have a boat, and that's it. He doesn't want to be near anyone, but that's what he's looking to do. And then we have to dig into that. But then I'll also ask students what their daydreams are. Do they see themselves as rock and roll musicians, as astronauts, as titans of business, as poets, as journalists? Because what we daydream often has a lot to do with what we might be looking to do. For students who of any age who don't know what they want to do, have no clue what's out there, we use the U Science assessment. And what the U Science assessment does is, again, it gives you a really good idea of what your interests are, and then what your aptitudes are, and then what careers might be a really good match for you. Because we feel that it's not always enough just to be interested in something. You need to know, well, do I have aptitudes that would lend themselves towards that? And it's not always enough just to have aptitudes towards something. Am I even interested in this? So the U Science assessment we do not charge students for it. It is free. And we offer it to our community members as well, and prospective students. Experiential learning. We help students find internships and apprenticeships. Kevin was talking about the value of both of those. We are building a more robust apprenticeship program, and my colleague Jennifer Lammers is our internship coordinator. One of the things we really encourage students to do are informational interviews. So I had a student come in a couple of days ago, and he said, look, I'm going to tell you what I want to do for a career, and you're going to laugh at me. I'm like, I'm not going to laugh at you. He's like, you're going to laugh at me. I'm like, I'm not going to laugh at you. He said, I want to be an astronaut. Okay. My job now as a career advisor is to help him understand that world. How does someone become an astronaut? What do you have to give up to be an astronaut? And so one of the things we do with students is we encourage them to do informational interviews. And no matter what their major is, or what their career is, or what they're thinking about, what they're interested in, we will help them connect with professionals in the industry and alumni to do what we call informational interviews. And we encourage students, take the person out for a cup of coffee, or meet with your faculty, meet with your professor, treat them to a cup of coffee. And the questions we ask students to ask of people who work in those industries: hey, what influenced your decisions to go into this field? Do you enjoy your work? How did you get your first job out of college? Would you do anything differently if you were back in college? What's a typical day like for you? What don't you like about your career? Do you make enough money to live comfortably? They might not tell you what their salary is, but they're definitely going to tell you whether those first couple of years out of college were kind of tough. And can I stay connected with you? One of the main tools that we use to help students reach out to career professionals is LinkedIn. And we've been using LinkedIn to specifically reach out to alumni. There are 20,409 Red Rocks Community College alumni who have LinkedIn profiles. And we have found that these alumni love the idea of helping students who've gone through similar programs or are going into similar programs get a leg up, learn more, gain perspective, gain insight. So we've been using LinkedIn quite extensively to reach out to alumni who work in these fields, and we have found that alumni love the idea of being able to pay it back in order to, to help other students who, like I said, are coming through similar programs. And then the final E is employment services. We will work with students on job search strategies. We have our own job search engine called Handshake. So all the jobs that we hear about in the Career Success Center and the internships and the apprenticeships, we put into Handshake, which is a free resource that we pay for, but we offer our students, alumni, and community members use of for free. We will help with the job search strategies. We'll help students with resumes and cover letters. We will help students go into their next interview feeling a little bit more confident. And we also work with students on salary negotiation. And like I said, the thing that really puts a smile on students' faces, especially here at the community college, is when we tell them we are here with you for life. So no matter if you go through a career transition, whatever it might be, you can always come back to us. We're always going to help you out for free. That's my presentation. That's kind of an overview of what we do at the Career Success Center. I'd like to open it up to any questions that anyone might have. I think how we do. Just looking here. Sorry.
And this is Terry from Red Rocks. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Do you get a lot of freshmen or students who have just started school who come in asking about internships, or do they tend to wait until they're about to graduate?
That's a really good question. We have found that the students we're encountering are waiting until the last minute to ask about internships. What we're going to start doing in the fall is more aggressive, be more proactive, and get word out to students who are in degree programs, usually 2-year degree programs here, that you have internships coming up. And instead of waiting until the last minute, let's start working now to find the best internship for you. So yeah, the answer to your question is we have found that a lot of students are waiting until the last minute. So that's why we're going to be more aggressive and more proactive starting in the fall with more internship programming.
Thank you. I love that because a lot of times students find out they don't want to do something too when they intern. So that's helpful to know up front before taking all those classes. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Totally agree. Okay, I'm gonna do a stop share. And now I get to turn it over to Natasha Garfield. So thank you everyone for having me today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Evan, for sharing all of the wonderful career work that you are doing at Red Rocks. We really appreciate hearing about the great kinds of things that you are offering to your students, and building those connections with alumni is also just terrific to hear about. Just a little quick note that if anybody is interested in sharing about something happening on your campus at our next partner meeting, please reach out to Lydia or to me, and we would love to get you on the agenda. If we could go on to the next slide, please, that would be great, Juliana. Thank you. And next slide. We are going to transition now to talk a bit about financial aid, and in particular, the impact that the current situation with FAFSA and CASFA is having on all of our students. I do just want to express my gratitude to all of you for the support that you've been providing to our students. And I hope that you're all hanging in there, especially those of you who work in financial aid. I know it's been an incredibly challenging year, and will continue to be so probably for at least the next few months. So if there's ever anything that all of us at DSF can do to make anything work more smoothly from our end to support students in that process, or to support all of you, please let us know. We are going to do a little activity right now to gather some information about what's happening on your campuses, and then we'll transition into talking more about what DSF can be doing to help ensure that scholars are ready for the 24-25 school year. So the link to our whiteboard is in the chat. It looks like many of you have already jumped in there. So thank you for doing that. What we're hoping for is that you'll use your S key on your keyboard to create sticky notes for yourself. If you would please try to answer all 5 of the questions for your institution, that would be great. Please be sure that you add your college's name or at least your college's initials on the sticky note so we know who it's coming from. And we're really just looking to hear what's happening on your campus. If you don't know the answers to these questions, that's okay. You can just skip the ones that you're not sure how to answer. If you haven't used Canva before, just a couple of notes. You can close the side panel to get that out of the way. And more importantly, you can go down to the bottom right corner to zoom in so that you can see what you're typing and read those questions a bit better. So thank you all for participating in this. We're going to give it probably, I'd say we'll give it 4 minutes to answer as many questions as you can. Also welcome you to come back to it later. And then after we've spent a little bit of time on these 5 questions, we're going to move to a discussion about some considerations for the scholarship as we move forward towards next year. And thank you. I see that folks are starting to add the sticky notes there, which is fantastic. If you're having any issues with using the whiteboard, let me know and we will help you to sort that out. You can also always put your responses to any of the questions in the chat and we can add them to the whiteboard for you. I should have come up with something to say while you all were typing here. So I hope everybody's okay with just a little bit of quiet time to think about your answers. And thank you, Kevin. Kevin just put the link in the chat where DSF alumni can request a one-on-one meeting to talk about career, networking, grad school, all of those things. So thank you, Kevin, and please share that with any DSF alumni that you may be in contact with from your college, or feel free to share it with graduating scholars as well. I feel like the whiteboard is like a video game of watching everybody's cursor moving around to different spots on the board.
The third question is partially blocked off for me. What is the full text on that question?
And the question is, what should students expect if they're selected for verification this year?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to whoever just moved the sticky note off of that question. All right, we'll give it 1 more minute and then I'll ask Juliana to move on to our next slide. That doesn't mean you should stop with your sticky note creation. We'll just continue the conversation and then you can keep adding your sticky notes when you have time to do that. And please also let us know if there are questions that we haven't asked either through the whiteboard or in the conversation that we'll be having in just a minute that you think we should be thinking about or should be considering. We really value your input and guidance on this topic in particular, because we know that there are a lot of things that are going to have lasting impact on our students as they maybe are finishing up 12th grade or preparing to continue on to their next year of college. And we want to be sure that we're all thinking of those implications and offering the most support that we can and the most effective support that we can. Juliana, I'll ask you to go ahead and move back to the PowerPoint and move on to our next screen, please. Roderick, I'm sorry about, thank you for letting us know, or, oh, I'm sorry, Cynthia, thank you for letting us know, and Roderick, that you're getting a message saying that the number of collaborators has been reached. DSF team, if you don't mind jumping out of the whiteboard for now, I think maybe that'll help us with reducing the number of collaborators. I will do the same so our partners can continue to access it. And if you're still not able to get in there, please message again and we'll make sure to send you the link a little bit later so that you can add your sticky notes once other folks have finished with theirs. But thank you for letting us know about that. So now we're going to transition to some questions that DSF would love to hear from you all about. I would love for folks to, if you feel comfortable, to raise your hand or just unmute yourself and jump in as we work through these questions, to share your thoughts or your perspective on how we might handle these issues. So the first question that we have is about our July 15th financial aid deadline. In the past, the way we've handled this is that if students were having issues, we consider requests either coming from the student, maybe from a campus contact or a DSF advisor who's working with them, or from financial aid, and we would handle it essentially as an appeal where we'd consider the circumstances and decide if the student was dealing with extenuating circumstances that should justify giving them an exception to that deadline. We are anticipating that many, many more students may be having problems getting through all of their financial aid requirements by that deadline this year. So we're considering an option where we would just ask financial aid contacts to indicate to us that the deadline should be waived for some students. Our thought process about that is that we would look for students who have submitted their FAFSA or CASFA before July 15th. It could be in a rejected status or have known errors, and that student was otherwise meeting their DSF requirements. So what we'd be thinking there is that we'd tell you all how to indicate which students should have the deadline waived, and we would then give them basically the rest of the fall term to try to get those requirements completed. So I'd love to hear from everyone what you think about that idea, if you think it would be helpful, if you think there's something else that we could do that might be more effective to deal with the impact of the FAFSA and now CASFA delays that we're seeing this year. I'm going to open up the floor to see if anyone has any thoughts. Even if your thought is that you think it's a terrible idea, we would still love to hear that. If it raises concerns for you, we know that doing away with the July 15th deadline altogether has not been a popular idea when we've discussed it in the past, because we all know that students need their financial aid in order to pay for the fall term. So we're not thinking of waiving it entirely, but we do want to reduce barriers for students who may be struggling to have a complete application at this point. I see we're getting some comments in the chat. Andy, thank you for your comment. Yes, we do want students to be at least submitting their FAFSA, but we know that it may not be complete because of some of the barriers. So this is a question about basically if they have at least submitted, but but it's in a rejected status, or there are other corrections that need to be made that may be causing difficulties, we would be looking at a way to provide some relief. Kirsty, thank you for your comment. Ryan, thank you for that question. Ryan's asking, will there be a way to indicate this on the student term editor or have some kind of batch process for tracking these students? So that's our thought, is that we would give instructions about how to either make an indication on the student term editor or indicate it to us in a reporting template if that's what your college uses. So we would be looking to gather it along with all of the other reporting that you all would be doing. And Mac, thank you for that comment. Mac's comment is that they are still seeing students whose parents don't have socials are having issues, and that's what DSF is also experiencing. I'm sure, like many of you, I've spent many hours this week trying to help parents get over those hurdles. So that's exactly why we are thinking of offering this form of relief. Thanks, everybody, for continuing to add your comments in the chat. Our thought is that we would essentially give students until November 15th to, if you all indicated that they should receive the waiver, we would give them until November 15th to try to get those requirements done and still receive a fall award. After that, we would shift our focus to spring awarding. So again, that's something that we would love to have your feedback on. We, of course, if we were to do that, we recognize that students who maybe haven't received their financial aid and haven't received their DSF award could be risking a situation where they get dropped from classes for non-payment. So whatever we do, we would want to work with you all to ensure that that is not something that happens, because we would hate to set them up for even more hurdles when we're trying to help. So thank you, everybody, for your comments on that question. So the next question that we'd like to move on to is a more open-ended one, and that is, what can DSF do to most effectively support students to receive aid offers and make decisions about fall? And as part of that, if there's anything that's specific to the scholarship, we'd love to hear about that. But mostly this is just a big picture question about, as we're working with our high school seniors and current college students, what can we be doing to support them in this process? So appreciate any suggestions that anyone wants to share about that. Don't be shy. You all are very, very welcome to unmute and share your thoughts out loud rather than having to type. Tamara posed a question in the chat. Are any of you seeing that high school students are just waiting until next year to go to college? So if anyone cares to respond to that question. I would say, based on what we're seeing and hearing at DSF, I think there are high schoolers who are getting very discouraged about the process, and some who are not being super responsive to their advisors right now, which may be an indication that they are giving up on the prospect of college for this year. We're really working hard to ensure that doesn't happen, but that's why we value your input about what we can be doing to support them to get their aid offers as soon as they can. Neil, thank you for your comment. Yes, we are really encouraging students not to feel like they should be making a decision about where they're going right now. And the 12th graders who have yet to receive those 8 offers, because we want them to be able to do those comparisons and make a meaningful choice. So we appreciate your confirmation that that's a wise direction to be going in. All right, let's move on to our last questions, which are just a couple of specific situations that we have been seeing, and would appreciate any guidance that you all might have from your experiences with students. So one situation that we're seeing is parents who are still stuck in the account creation process, where we are trying to get through identity verification, or maybe they haven't even gotten that far and they're getting stuck. If you've had any success stories that you can share with us, or any tips that you recommend, that would be great. The second question that we have is, we know that some students may end up with an SAI that is significantly higher than their EFC last year, and it's not due to a change in the family financial situation. We expect that the default answer there would be that they could conceivably pursue a special circumstances professional judgment. But if there's anything else that you would recommend we look at in that situation, we would love to hear about it. Lauren asked a question about whether we are expecting to see a lot of changes in college choice for students on their DSF application compared to other years. I think that's a great question, Lauren. I anticipate that that could be possible. I think just based on my anecdotal experiences with high schoolers, many of them are maybe leaning towards what they expect will be the most
Hey, Natasha, we haven't been able to hear you for a few seconds.
Yeah, your audio went out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, I think my internet is not great. Thank you for letting me know about that. And please tell me if you lose my audio again. I think we are almost done with our time on this topic. So I really appreciate everyone's questions and comments in the chat. And we will be sure to continue to follow up with you all. I see that Ryan posted a suggestion about some additional communication that we could try. I love that idea, and we'll continue to welcome opportunities to engage with all of you to talk about these topics and make sure that we're doing everything we can to recognize the reality that students are facing and help them stay on track to enroll and succeed in college this fall. And I think with that, I will hand it back to Juliana and Lydia, and we are going to have another drawing. So thank you very much, everyone.
The fun part of the meeting, just kidding. The entire meeting has been amazing. Time for our next drawing. Cross your fingers. Again, this is for an item up to $50 from our school store. And our winner is Rod. Are you here? Drop it in the chat if you're
Yes,
here.
I am.
Are here. Yay, congratulations. And then we'll just go back to our presentation. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking about the virtual insight panels that happen at DSF for our students who are being served at the Future Centers, as well as our scholars. Some of you have seen these in the DSF digest that I send out on a monthly basis. So I'm just going to talk a little bit more just to give more information on career support that DSF has for students. We can go to the next slide, Juliana. So the intention for these is career exposure for students. We do host them in the fall and the spring. However, this spring semester, we did not host them. We put a hold on them just so that we can focus more on FAFSA, CASFA support this semester, since there's been so many changes as we've been dealing with everybody and on this meeting joining us today. Our panelists are corporate partners, DSF alumni, we have DSF staff and community partners as well. And we have intentionality behind it with the career exposure. We also want to make sure that we are using our JEDI lens for DSF, and that is justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And popular topics in the past have been healthcare, public services, and technology. These are the ones that we get the most students attending. Next slide, please. Again, there's a lot of intentionality behind our virtual insight panels for students. Again, in the high school and in the college level, we invite students on both sides to attend. They get to learn from each other. They get to ask important questions of the panelists. A lot of the questions asked are, what was your education level like? Did you go to school for the career that you're in now? What kind of path did you take? So our students end up getting very engaged in these virtual insight panels. Again, our scholars let us know, and our high school students let us know what they want to learn about or who they're trying to get more information, what degree or career path they want to get more information from. And that's how we end up getting our panelists as well. Here are two examples of the flyers that we have, and these are the ones that I also include. So keep an eye out. We will continue these back up in the fall semester. And now I'm going to go, I think next slide, I think I'm done here. Now I'm going to hand it off to Ben.
Thank you, Lydia. Hi, everyone. Great to be with you today. We're going to move into some updates from the Small But Mighty Scholarship team here at DSF. So next slides, please. Okay, we'd like to put out a last call for any remaining spring updates for scholar eligibility for the spring term. So if you are a financial aid contact, we encourage you to go into your student term editor one last time to make any final updates to students' spring enrollment, SAP status, or their financial aid status as soon as you can, so that we can quickly as possible award any newly eligible students for the spring semester. We will close the spring terms and those spring student term editors at the end of the day on Friday, May 10th, just a few weeks away. And that way we can sort of get everything ready to open up for the summer terms in June. So that's sort of the timeline that we're hoping for, is to get those final updates from our financial aid contacts by May 10th. And please, as always, don't hesitate to let us know if you encounter any issues with the DSF Partner Portal or using the student term editor and submitting updates to us. And thanks in advance for sending us those updates so we can award even more scholars this year. Next slide. Okay, so the DSF scholarship application for next school year is still open, but the deadline is coming up very quickly on May 1st. That is in 12 days. Students do need to renew their scholarship for each year that they wish to continue receiving it. For those renewing scholars, the renewal application is very quick. Most students do it in about 5 minutes or even less. And they do that in the student or the DSF student portal, which is at portal.denverscholarship.org. So that's where they'll find the renewal application. We have been sending a lot of reminders and we will continue to do so up until the deadline, but we definitely appreciate your help in also sending reminders to your scholars to get them to renew by that May 1st deadline. So thank you so much for your help with that. And then this is a review of a major policy change for the scholarship that will go into effect next school year. We've announced it previously, but just want to sort of repeat it so everyone is aware. So with the previous policy, students could receive DSF for up to 4 consecutive years after they first applied and became a finalist. That is now extended to 5 years. In addition, we extended the amount of time that they can receive it at a community college from their first 2 years up to their first 3 years as a DSF scholar. And likewise for technical college, we extended it by a year so that they can receive DSF at a technical college during their first 2 consecutive years as a DSF scholar. All of these windows of time begin again when they first apply for the DSF scholarship and first become a finalist. So typically that's right after they graduate high school, or it might happen the year after that as well. This change does apply to all current and future cohorts. In addition, any students who are in a bachelor's program at a community college can receive the scholarship for up to 5 total years at that college. So for any student who is reported to be in one of those BAS programs at a community college, the system is set up so that they will automatically continue being eligible for up to 5 years at that community college. Next slide, please. So going along with that policy change, a couple of procedures that we have had in place are going to be retired or phased out. Since all current and future DSF scholars will now have up to 5 years of eligibility, we will no longer consider requests for program extensions. And in addition, many students, as a result of the COVID pandemic, were automatically granted an extension in their DSF eligibility. Some students still have those extensions, and those are going to be phased out beginning next school year as a result of this new policy. Any scholars who are currently in their 5th year in the current school year are not eligible for an additional or 6th year. So that's just something to be aware of. And then I will hand it over to Brianna for continued updates and reminders from the scholarship team.
All right, thanks, Ben. Again, I'm Brianna Murphy. I'm the scholarship data specialist here on the scholarship team. Just got a couple reminders for you as we come to the end of our spring term. So first of all, we just want to remind you that we want to have at least one contact at your institution with a DSF partner portal login at all times. Generally, you guys are really good about letting us know when there's staffing changes, so please keep that up. The reason this is important is, one, we want to make sure if there's any changes, if anything needs to be updated, that someone can get access to that at any time. And then also, if a staff leaves your office and they should no longer have access to student data, we want to make sure we close their account as soon as possible. It is super quick and easy for us to set up an account temporarily. So if you have staffing changes in your office and you need someone else to be a temporary contact, that's really easy for us to do. So just let us know, and we are happy to do that for you. All right, next slide, please. All right. I know we talked a little bit about the July 15th financial aid deadline, so we are still going to be making some decisions about any potential extensions. But just in general, we want to give you a couple reminders about that July 15th financial aid deadline. So when you are reporting on if a student has met that deadline, what we want to know is if the students turned in and completed everything that they knew about and were notified about before their deadline. It's totally okay if you're still processing it by that July 15th. We just want to know if the students are doing everything that they need to do by that time. Next, if you're for SAP appeals, if we want to know if the student was notified by the end of their spring term, if they need to put in a SAP appeal, that should be done by July 15th. If they were not notified at the end of the spring term, we don't want that to count against them. So just keep that in mind. And then we just let us know, again, we'll be coming up with some more information about how we're going to be dealing with the FAFSA issues with that July 15th deadline. But just let us know about any students who are responsive, who are doing everything they need to do, but are stuck somewhere in the process. And then you'll be able to use the comment field or send us an email too as things come up. And I know we talked about this a little bit, but is there anything else that you think DSF should be thinking about when it comes to that July 15th deadline? Feel free to come off of mute or drop us a question in the chat box. All right. Well, feel free, if you have any other thoughts, feel free to put them in the chat or reach out to us after this meeting, but go ahead and go to the next slide for now. So next, just a little bit about summer scholarship. The summer scholarship intent form is open right now. So any students that receive DSF for any term during 23-24 are eligible to receive a summer award. And if they're eligible, they will see the link to apply in their student portal. The intent form has to be submitted by June 1st. This is a firm deadline with no exceptions. And if they're just considering summer, encourage them to fill it out. There's no consequences if they change their mind later. So if it's even on their radar, we encourage them to fill out that summer intent form, because then they'll be able to hopefully get that scholarship. Now, another reminder, they do have to be attending a DSF college partner, but it doesn't have to be their home school. If they want to go to a different institution during the summer, that's totally okay. And they need to be enrolled at least 3 credits and be meeting SAP at their summer college. Next, please. Just a reminder of the award amounts for that summer scholarship. So 500 for 3 to 5 credit hours and 1,000 for 6 or more credit hours. Next, please. So if you want to see if your scholars, your DSF scholars have submitted a summer intent form, there is a report for that in the DSF partner portal. So what you're going to do is click on the reports tab. Make sure you click all reports on the left sidebar. If you just have recent, you're not going to be able to see it. Always that fun little Salesforce quirk. Search for eligible for summer scholarship is the name of the report, and that will show you all of your students who have received 23-24 DSF award and whether they've submitted that summer intent form. And that is updated in real time. So as soon as a student fills that form out, you'll be able to see it. And I see a question: if students are eligible but not seeing the application, who should they contact? So theoretically, this shouldn't happen, but feel free to reach out to us and we can be able to check that. Yep, and I see Natasha dropped our phone number in there, so that's great. All right, next slide, please. All right, so here, last for me is our timeline for summer award processing. So after that June 1st deadline for submission, then on June 3rd, you look for an announcement that the summer student turn editor is open and that you've been sent your reporting templates. So at that time, you can start reporting on enrollment and SAP for summer. And then our target deadline for you to complete all of the summer reporting is going to be June 16th. It's a really tight turnaround, so that's our ideal time. However, if you know you're going to need more time, let us know. I know some contacts have already reached out to us about extenuating circumstances, so feel free to reach out if that timeline, if that June 16th deadline is not going to work for you. But we do need to process all awards by June 30th. That's the end of our fiscal year. So all summer payments do need to be set by that time. So that's why we have such a strict timeline there. I have a question in the chat. If a student is enrolled in summer courses through 2 different colleges and universities that are both DSF partners, they both list both on the form. So on that form, they can submit it as many times as they would like. But I'm going to let Ben answer that.
Yeah, this is a great question. So you can only select one college on the form. And so I would advise that they, first of all, on the form, select the college that's maybe their home college or the one where they're taking more summer credits. But then that's a situation where they should reach out to us by sending us a message or calling us and letting us know, hey, I'm actually taking summer credits at 2 different institutions this summer. And we get that occasionally with students, and almost always we're able to award them for the full number of credits that they're taking across those institutions just by getting in touch with our contacts at those colleges and getting their confirmation of all the credits that they're taking. And usually one college is able to then report all those credits. So I hope that helps. So they should just reach out to us and let us know in that situation.
Thank you, Ben. Ben, I also don't know this next question about Emily Griffith, if you wouldn't mind taking that. I'm assuming that's, so we're talking about like a year, is that right? Like August in one year to August of the next year? Okay. I think this might be a Natasha. Do you want to take this?
Sure. So yes, I would ask those students to please fill out the summer intent form, because they will be enrolled over the summer, even though it's part of their regular program, because that will just enable us to send them more money. So yes. Thank you.
Awesome. And we love sending students more money. Any more questions about summer scholarships, anything like that, before I pass it off? Feel free to unmute if you have any other questions. Thanks for the questions we've gotten so far. All right. If anything else comes up, feel free to reach out to us. And until then, I'm going to pass it off to Natasha.
Thanks, Brianna. Back to me again. So this is just a very quick FYI. Probably won't have any impact on most of you, but for those of you who I do interact with, I will be out of the office. DSF has a wonderful sabbatical program, which is just entering its 2nd year. So I will be out for 4 weeks of sabbatical. And during that time, Ben and Brianna will be available to answer any of your questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to them if anything comes up, especially around summer reporting or concerns about summer deadlines. And with that, I will hand it off to Lydia.
Back to me. So I have 2 quick reminders for you all, MOUs and SSRs. If we can go to the next slide, please. Just want to remind everybody, SSR data is due May 1st. This is if students have completed or not completed their student success requirements. Again, you only have to report for students who are currently receiving a DSF award. If they did not meet their SSRs or you're selecting NA, please be sure to let us know why they did not meet the SSR. This is very helpful information for us to have in case a student calls wanting to know why they're not receiving their scholarship. We can just let them know and have a conversation with them on the importance of meeting their student success requirements at their institution. If you have scholars, we are asking to report on scholars graduating for fall 2024. I've been working with some institutions to get DSF board approvals at your schools, and I want to make sure we get those to your institutions before fall commencement, and that information can easily be reported during our May 1 SSR data. Next, we have MOUs. So MOUs, the first draft from our partners and edits will be due June 28th. I will be sending those out to all of our partners and MOU contacts on Monday, May 20th, so that you can review them, add any comments, and then we can have time to respond back to the comments, prepare the MOU for final signatures. My goal every year is to have all MOUs finalized and signed by both DSF and your institution by the first day of your semester for the fall. Been doing really good at getting those in. So thank you everybody for working on MOUs every year. Not everybody is on a yearly MOU. We do have our multi-year MOUs. For our multi-year MOU partners, I will be reaching out to you just to confirm contacts gift aids, and then giving you some updated language on our scholarship items, such as our new policy that you heard of. And then SSR updated language. So I did send this out in March. This was due on March 28th. You still have time if any of you have major updates to your SSR language on what you want students to complete at your institution. Please feel free to send those to me. I will be uploading all new SSR language on May 6th. I will be out of town starting today at 5 p.m. And I will not be available for the next 2 weeks, but when I return, I will be uploading all the new SSRs. By that point, our application will end and we'll be working with the new academic year of 24-25 applicants. And then that is all for me. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Olivia.
Hi, everyone. I'm here just to talk quickly about our Pathway Park. We have a journey map that we have put together. This was years ago, the one that you're seeing now. And we've updated this just to be new, fresh, and more specifically for our scholars to view and see various pathways to success, various pathways to their degree and credential. What you're seeing now is what we had up in our future centers within the high schools. And I'm going to have you all go to the next slide. And this is our new map that we've put together and are launching in the fall. So what you'll see is from the future center at the bottom left side, all the way to the land of possibilities, which is at the top right side. The possibilities of being building your own career, owning a business, continuing your own education, etc. So again, these are up in our future centers within the high schools, and they've been used as a tool there for college access. But we are expanding this new Pathways Park, this new map, to be able to be leveraged across our programs and across our partners. So we just wanted to give you a quick introduction of this, and we can make this available to you all as well. Again, it's a tool, great tool for our advisors to use to walk specifically our high school students, but even our scholars through these options of certificate, associate degree, bachelor's degree, and then the various options in between. And now I'm going to hand it back to Lydia.
Thank you, Olivia. All right, so we are at our last drawing. Cross your fingers. Again, we are excited to have our DSF school store. Please stop by and check it out. Our winner is our last winner. Oh, Miel, is it you? Yes, are you still here with us? Yes, you are. I see you there. Yay, congratulations to all of our winners. I will be sending out an email with the link to the school store. And if you can please, there's also going to be a form for you to complete. We will be sending these directly to your home, so please provide us with the correct mailing address. Next slide, please. I would like to thank everybody for being here today, being an active participant with our meeting today, with all of our presenters that we had. And I want to, again, thank you all for supporting our students, supporting our scholars. We know that this has been a challenging semester for everybody with FAFSA, but we want to thank everybody for being a thoughtful partner with us and supporting our scholars. I will open it up. We do have 5 minutes left of the meeting. So I do want to open it up for any questions. You can unmute yourself. You can ask the scholarship team, myself, any questions that you might have. If you have no questions, please feel free to leave the meeting. We will be sending follow-up information and meeting notes of today and today's recording after today. Thank you, everybody.